everyone, and happy Friday. Well, we all are talking about imbalance of hormones, especially for women. But today we wanted to understand how so many different type of therapies like tapping and other oriental therapies can help with hormonal health. So to talk about this, we have Dr. Maria. She is a doctor of oriental and acupuncture medicine. She's a yoga instructor. She is an international coach and a quantum medicine specialist. So she is all in one as far as integrative medicine is concerned. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Maria.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
I'll let you start on hormonal health and how all your knowledge that you have accumulated, you were talking about neurotapping, can help women with the hormonal health.
Yes, that's something that we all need to know. We need to know from the background, we need to know that we are a holistic person. That to start off, because we think that we are rational beings and all we need is to understand what's going on. But it's important that we learn that we are not only a mind that thinks, but we are also a heart that feels, and we have a body that is experiencing in this world, and we have an energy system and a map. So all of it is working together to create balance in our body. And that's why it's important, because otherwise you're going to be rationalizing what you feel. And it's kind of crazy that we expect the brain to understand what we feel when there's no connection, when there's no coherence. So that's why it's important. The first step is awareness. Start being awareness and conscious of what we feel in our body, where we are today. And I always invite in the coaching system to create a map. When you create a map, you can create a health map. And with that, you can start identifying the symptoms that you have. Hormonal health is very delicate and it's complex because it's intimately interwoven with the nervous system, with the endocrine system, with the immune system, and the energetic system. So immediately when you are stressed, that we all are and experience stress in this lifetime, it triggers the cortisol level, which is this hormone segregated by the adrenal gland sitting on top of the kidney, telling the brain to start creating more of this hormone, that we are in alert, we are in a survival mode. The point is that fear or survival mode is something that helps us go through life. The problem is when we are stuck in this survival mode all the time. And I see that in the clinic constantly with reproductive issues, menopausal issues, PMS, and a host of all different problems. It's very important to understand that when this hormone is elevated all the time, it inhibits the production and nutrition of all the cascade of all the other hormones, meaning that we cannot reproduce, we cannot digest food, we cannot think, we cannot do anything because the body is ready to fight, flight, paralyze, or deal with this imminent threat. So to understand that we need to stop that process, and we can do that with different techniques. Today, we're going to talk about the tapping. And tapping is a word, a verb that has to do with touching different parts of the body. This was born in all ancient traditions, and traditional Chinese medicine used to use the hands, like many other traditions as well, to start tapping on different areas of the body to create balance. The main basis of traditional Chinese medicine is that we get sick or we get an imbalance when we cannot adapt to the environment. Environment means seasonal changes, changes in culture, moving different places, or plants, food, weather, but also what we think and what we feel is included in that. So anything, and basically right now, our modern world is focusing so much and creating so much pressure, expectations, and we have a mind that is stuck in the past or worry about the future, that we are constantly leading ourselves into this rumination, constantly ruminating, worrying and fearing, and activating the cortisol all the time. So the tapping is accessing different maps in our body that are roads, avenues, and highways in which more than 400 points are in this location. Every point has a different benefit and a different action. And it in different meridian is related to different organ systems. So like our body that has veins and arteries in their cardiovascular system, the same thing, these meridians or nadis in the yoga system, these meridians are pathways that connect to cells, tissues, organs, and systems. So the idea is to keep the organs and the system interconnected in a dynamic system. And that's one of the things that we need to be aware. There's a dynamic system that needs to be moving all the time. Energy needs to be moving all the time. The circulation needs to be moving all the time. And for that, we need to be creating change. And that's one of the things that we reject and we fear the most, change. So going back to the cortisol, we fear change and we activate the cortisol. We fear feelings, so we activate the cortisol, and that creates a whole disruption of hormones. With tapping, we can access different systems, and the most important one that I'm going to teach you today is accessing the three brains. Through tapping the three brains, you create coherence, and coherence is when we calm these waves created by our heart brain or our brain waves through technology. Science can quantify, and you can check into the HeartMath Institute that they have created so many researches in which they could quantify however we feel, we can impact our brain and what we think, and we can impact our hormonal system, nervous system, immune system, changing our DNA, changing our health. So there's so much we can do. And the first thing that I invite you to do today, or if this is recording, you can do it later. Do it every day for 1 minute, just breathing through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. You can tap your DUP 20 point. You can find this point, placing the thumb in the top of the earlobe, going on the top of the head, and start tapping on the top of the head, inviting the brain, our computer, to start coordinating and synchronizing the left and right brain, hemispheres of the brain, creating coherence in our thinking to stop the cortisol levels that are stuck in this survival mode, getting into parasympathetic mode, which is restoring balance, regeneration, and repair and rest mode. And so immediately you change that cortisol and stress level into a calmness and coherence. Go into your heart, you do the same thing, breathing through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. You can create a coherence of how you feel, because sometimes it's just a memory that it's in the subconscious mind that is activating all this cascade, activating the cortisol levels, and you're not aware of that. So it's important that when you do the tapping, you calm down the brain, calm down the second brain, which is the heart. And at the navel area, you can tap also, and you can calm down the most intuitive and visceral level of our body. Yes, our somatic experience. So tapping can be used in many different ways. We have neuro tapping, we have these three brain tapping, there's EFT, TFT. The idea is that through acupuncture points, you can verbalize emotions that you're having at certain particular time, or you can also focus on the positive and of manifestation and connecting with the future into manifesting wealth, abundance, and health, and tap these different points in our body to activate this part of ourselves that we are not aware. The most important thing is we said awareness, action into practice, and then creating a practice every day, because that's the only way to create neural pathways, that these neural pathways are going to create a habit, and then that habit is going to be within us, and the body's going to be asking for that. So when you create coherence, the hormone, the cortisol levels are reduced, our oxytocin and endocrine system starts balancing again. We have all these different hormones that are activating, like oxytocin, which is the love hormone, starts activating again because they have a space, they have now awareness. Now you're activating your heart, you calm down your system, and now you can breathe in a coherent way. The heart can reduce the rate variability of the heart. Now you can think clearly, you can feel clearly, and your body can do what knows best, which is creating balance within itself. So I invite you to start tapping the three brains. It's very simple. You don't need algorithm of points. This is the most basic tapping, which you can access your brain, your heart anyway, in the traffic light, before getting on a plane, before taking an exam. Try to do this tapping when you wake up, when you go to sleep, to try balancing all the brain that is sometimes stuck in this survival mode that only feeds more of the cortisol levels to be high. And that's what causes that disruption in our hormonal system, nervous system, immune system. Balance is everywhere. We need to balance one aspect of ourselves. This is the brain. It will balance the whole body. It will balance our emotions. It will balance our energetics. It will all of the balance is going to be restored. So anything you do with your breathing, deep breathing, conscious breathing, yoga practice, qigong practice, or walking, also running, any practice that you feel you brings you to your body, this somatic experience, it will calm down again, particularly the tapping in this case, to restore balance once more. Remember that the cortisol is the hormone of stress. And if you restore those levels and you calm down that cortisol, or what causes the cortisol, which is a cellular memory, a trauma, fighting, resisting to life, being fearful or worry, that's all going to activate that system again. So that's why awareness is important, and creating that health map in which, what am I doing to nourish or trigger the cortisol to be elevated again? And we identify the triggers. That's another way as well to prevent getting into this alarm system or sympathetic mode.
Okay, there's a lot of amazing information. And you know, the interesting thing is we have so many tools that we can use from a holistic therapy toolbox. It's just that we just don't know. We don't have the knowledge, and we don't know when to use what. That's right to your, and that's why we need someone like you who has done everything to coach us, to guide us in the right direction.
Yes, I was in the same place. That's why I started studying and questioning myself. And I think that's one of the things that we need to do, start questioning. Why am I here? What have I done? What are the habits that I have done? What can I do from now onwards? Knowing that the body is doing everything in our favor, because the body has this homeostasis method in which it creates balance all the time. So the body has this intelligence, not only in our brain, heart, body, and energy, which is constantly in this dynamic in which is creating this feedback, telling each part of ourselves what it needs to create this balance. So the body is doing it, but we are stuck in this mode of fear and worry and repeating ourselves the same patterns. So we need to break that pattern, but we need to first realize, what are we doing and what's that pattern, so that we can start changing.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for being with us. This is a quick 10-minute session, educational session that we bring on a daily basis. We are launching our platform that's going to be very affordable for all over the world. So stay tuned. Our app is coming next month, and Dr. Maria is going to be participating with us on launching a lot of these simple techniques in Spanish as well as in English. So stay tuned, and thank you so much, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.